Do you love your life? Do you like what you do? Do you look forward to every day? Well, 5 years ago, somebody asked me those same questions, and I was pretty surprised at my answers because all of my answers were no. And that's when I started a big transformation in my life to change my career and get to where I am now. I'm Dr. Kalpana, and I am a retired ear, nose, and throat surgeon, and I've made it my mission to help women find their sense of fulfillment and use their voice authentically. Because I stand for other women using their voice in their authentic way, well, I decided I needed to follow my own advice and use my voice to create more content. And that's my commitment to you in 2024. And that's the reason that I've started my YouTube channel so that you have access to more content. A few years ago, I transitioned out of my career in medicine, and I'm currently an author, a speaker, and a life coach. And my mission is to help women like you who are undergoing a transition in their lives. You may not really know where you want your life to go, but that's why I've made a commitment to creating more content so that you don't have to go at it alone. If you're feeling lost or you're feeling stuck, that's okay. I was where you are right now. But it is important to acknowledge that this may be the time to embark on a change. And that's what I'm hoping these videos will help you do and provide the support that you need. So many of us see all these shoulds in our lives, and I don't want to be another figurehead that's telling you what to do. My goal is really just to help you with your journey, and hopefully some of my experiences can just create the framework for you to make life a little bit easier and help you along your journey a little bit faster. Around 6 years ago, I remember feeling so lost and confused that I actually didn't even know what was going on with me. And, I didn't even have resources like YouTube. I mean, it was there, but I didn't know to look into YouTube to find additional resources. So, I was searching on the internet for silly things like, was I turning from an extrovert into an introvert? Because one of the things I found was that I just wanted all this solitary time, and I didn't know how to get it. I didn't know how to ask for it. So I felt really stuck because obviously I had a family, I had a husband, I had children, and I felt like it was so selfish for me to just need this time away. So the first thing I did was finally I got up the courage to tell my husband that I needed to take a month and just figure out what was wrong with me because I didn't even know what it was. And, I was so grateful that he was really supportive in that. And he also had suspected something was going on with me. So I basically just got a condo not too far away from the house, but I just needed a break. And the funny thing was that I thought I'd be sitting in the condo the whole time, just, I don't know, being an introvert and being quiet. And I didn't know what to really expect. But what I found was that I was actually able to reconnect with parts of me that I didn't even remember existed anymore. So for the first few days, I remember I was really in solitude, just trying to figure myself out, figuring out what I even liked to do. Because again, I took myself out of my own old routine and my normalcy. And when I did that, I discovered that there were different things that I liked to do. And that was interesting. So I realized that changes of scenery can really be important when you're trying to figure yourself out. Well, a couple of days went by, and all of a sudden, I felt like I wanted to go out and do things, something that I just hadn't really wanted to do in a long time. And then I didn't know if I even really wanted anyone there to do things with. So I just started doing things by myself, which was odd because I had been married for a really, really long time. So I always had somebody to do something with. And if it wasn't my husband, I always sought out a friend to go do something with. But weirdly, I felt that it was going to empower me just to do things by myself, just because I didn't have to worry about what anybody else wanted in those situations. So I started to do that. I started to go out to eat by myself, which was something that was so uncomfortable to me because I felt like a loser sitting there by myself. And the strange thing is that I've continued to do it over the years, and now it's something I really am okay with. And I started to just talk to random people when I went to the grocery store and just do different things. Then I also started to hang out with my friends a little bit more and expand my horizons. So for example, if there were the normal things that we did, I would find friends that would probably want to do something different than the things that I would normally want to do and go hang out with them so I could try different experiences. Well, all of those things really got me out of the rut of my everyday life because I had a routine that was so plugged in and so specific and particular that it was freaking boring me to tears. And I couldn't take it anymore. So I think although that first step of just leaving for a month was very difficult for me, it was the best thing that I ever could have done. Well, the interesting thing was when I finally came back after the month, I was thrilled to be back. I was like, wow, I'm so happy to be back in my normal environment and have all my routines again. And that quickly faded. Within about 2 weeks, I realized that something really, really needed to change. And it was unfortunately a lot bigger than just going away for a month. And I just knew that I needed something different out of my life. And a lot of times we're so afraid to make big changes because we don't have the whole thing planned out. And I think those are those moments where you have some insane courage for a short period of time that you realize that you just make one courageous step and then see where that leads you. Well, my courageous step was pretty big. I had been contemplating a divorce for a long time, and about a month after I came back, I knew in my gut it was time. There was no specific reason. There was nothing that had changed in my surroundings, but something had changed within me. And I had to honor that something about my life wasn't right. And it was easy enough to sit there and just stay in it. It really wasn't that bad. It was actually pretty good by everybody else's standards. But again, something felt off, something felt missing, and I was really determined to figure out what the heck that was, even though I had no idea in the beginning of the journey. The big thing that I discovered throughout this journey was that we're forced to make decisions at a really young age about a lot of big things. And we have to make these decisions when we don't even really know who the heck we are. In retrospect, I realized that that was where all the problems stemmed from. I made a decision about my career before I even really knew who I was. I made a decision on marriage, for the right reasons at the time, but the problem was that I changed. And I started to discover a little more of who I was. And here's the thing, society makes us feel like we make a decision at one point in our lives and we have to stick with it for the rest of our lives. Well, I really don't think that's true. Because how can the same decision I made at 18 or 21 be the same decision that's good for me at 48? I mean, I was a whole different person and I had a different idea of where I wanted my life to go. And I had to honor that. And it's hard because I truly wish I could have probably stayed within that marriage and done it, but I couldn't see how I could have done it because there's so many patterns and thought process that are integrated into that dynamic that it's hard to break out of that. So I barely knew how to do it on my own, let alone how to do it within the confines of a relationship that had an entirely different construct when I went into it. So it was a huge dilemma, and that was why I needed to just get some space, and I didn't know how else to do it. Whenever I'm with my friends, I often joke and say, I don't ask questions that I don't want to know the answers to. But there are times in your life where you really have to ask the questions that you might not really want the answers to. And that was something that I had to learn to do for myself. I mean, how many of us just wake up and wonder what our true purpose is in life? Is our life really fulfilling? Do we know who we really are? And this is so common, especially after we've raised children, because that was another problem that I realized was a big compounding factor, that when you're so embedded in your career and raising children, you often really lose yourself. And I really do believe there's a way that you don't have to necessarily lose yourself, but it has to be intentional from the beginning. And I didn't know enough to make it an intentional process. So fast forward, my life has definitely changed now. I took the space that I needed because I knew I needed it. And I took the time for self-discovery. I took the time to work through all these issues that I had, all my triggers, all my self-limiting beliefs. And I'm on the other side of that journey now. And I have a life that I really enjoy. And that journey got me out of medicine, leaving medicine, a career that I had worked for 20 years to become a part of. But I still have those experiences that can carry over with me. And now I'm an author, I'm a speaker, I'm a coach. And I like to say that I still help people because I do, but it's different. I don't help them with a knife anymore, but it's almost like I'm surgically extracting the things that are holding them back and showing them how to create something better. Very similar to what I did in surgery, just in a different way. So I love how those skills can transcend, and I think that's why we shouldn't be so scared to leave something behind. Because we don't really leave it. It's a part of us, and we've learned the skills and these lessons and these beautiful things. We just get to take them with us and create something new. I promise to keep showing up for you. All you have to do is hit that subscribe button. Because you know what? You're taking the first step in showing up for yourself, which is so important. And honestly, please like and share this video if you think it could help someone else that you know. I also have a free 20-minute masterclass, which is a preview to my Fearless Freedom formula. Now that's the formula that I use with my one-on-one clients. I also have a free 20-minute masterclass, which is a preview to my Fearless Freedom formula, which is the exact formula that I use for my one-on-one clients. So if that resonates with you, there's a link below. Bleh. I was like, it's going good till that happened. You can find that link below. And remember, on the other side of your greatest fear is your greatest joy.